Okay, welcome back YouTube for what will likely be the last part of this recording. If we have a maple sapling in Coastal Highway, we're going to remake the bow this episode, and if we don't, I'll probably spend the entire episode getting out to Mystery Lake, where I know I have more maple. So one of those two things will happen. You know, I slept for 10 hours, hoping it'd be warmer. This is not what I'd consider warmer. Honestly, they should be spreading. Because in this weather, there's going to be no wolves. And that's really the only good thing about this weather. You know, I comment on the good thing about the weather. And you know what happens to the blizzard? It goes away. And promptly warms up. So we went from blizzard is dangerous to, well, now the wolves can come back. I wonder how warm it is. -3. We're almost warm here. Which I suppose means if I had the best in-slot items, we probably would be warm here. Actually, for the rest of this walk.
Something's gotta go.
For the rest of this walk, we don't need the crampons on, so we can get a little bit more warmth by wearing our earmuffs. It's not much, only half a degree, but half a degree is better than nothing. And I suppose when you're only running what was -3 before, right? So that's what took us from 3 to 2. That's 33% more warmth, or 16% more warmth, or something like that. So not bad. Not bad at all. Looks like an animal corpse of some sort over there on the beachcomb. Push to shore. Not immediately seeing the bear, but doesn't mean the bear hasn't respawned yet. Just means it's not on this side of its pathing. I eat all the meat, right? Yes. Just want to make sure I'm not attracting undue attention. And if I had to eat the meat, I would eat the meat. Which would help keep the attraction away. Those are deer, not wolves. Those are deer, not wolves. And the most dangerous weapon I have right now is a stone. And I'm not seeing the bear. So at this point, between where we looked before and looking here, it looks like this bear, which you've heard, this bear was the third bear we hunted, so probably hasn't been long enough yet, but that bear has not respawned. I believe the respawn timers are longer on Interloper than they are on Stalker. It probably would be back already if it was on Stalker. I think it's like 20 days on Stalker. And seeing as the bear hide takes 15 days to cure, it's a decent possibility it would be back on Stalker.
Can't feel my hands.
We do have a couple wolves out on the waterfront. But they're out on the waterfront, that probably means they're not between us and the garage. So we should be able to slip in the back door in the garage easy enough, if not the front door. And I don't remember when I had maple saplings here. I probably had them here at some point. The question is, did I drag them to Mystery Lake? If I drag the Mystery Lake, then that's what we'll be walking this episode. Because the plan right now is to replace the missing bow. Well, the broken bow. We left it behind in Hibernia processing, because there's not much point in having a bow that does not twang anymore. Eating some of the cooked meat. And then we can enter in the front door, nice and safely. I suppose I can drop all of these here. So my preliminary inspection is implying I do not, in fact, have any maple here. And that means the Mystery Lake we go. Put a can under the bed. Yep, that's a recycled can under the bed. Well, off to Mystery Lake we head.
Can't feel my feet.
We may need to, at some point, take a quick stop to warm the character up. He is a bit chilly. Because his nice, warm bear coats are keeping him mostly warm, but he is still, in this weather, losing just a little bit of heat. Yeah, with the better carrying capacity, because we're up to 45 with the moose hide satchel, we should plausibly be able to power through all the way to Mystery Lake in this episode. Might not have enough time to do the crafting when we get there, but we should at least get there this episode, I'm thinking.
So cold.
Trying to remember where I am. I'm on the road, so I know I'm going the right way, but the question is which road, because there's multiple parallel roads here. I may be on a different road than the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I'm on a different parallel road than the one I was thinking of. Let's duck in those cabins quickly. Do a little bit of searching for goodies while we warm up. So in earlier episodes we've seen the fire lookout. The fire lookout's just up there. There's a place you can climb down to a cave just about up there, and from that cave you can climb down to here. And the number of huts up here is random. We frequently don't, at least on Interloper, we frequently don't have all of them up. On lower difficulties, you frequently may have all of them up. So I think on Stalker it's fairly common to see all of them up. No, it's not guaranteed on Stalker. The one on the lowest difficulty, I think it's guaranteed. So I think if you're on Pilgrim, you probably will always see all those huts up. Yeah, and either... well, I think the two places I searched in here didn't have anything in them, and I hadn't searched them before, so I hadn't been here to search before, but at the same time, there wasn't anything really to find here either, so... Here's a bit of cloth. I could loot that cloth. Spend some time looting the cloth. Ooh, a summit soda. Alright, I think that's all we're gonna loot here. Onward to Mystery Lake. And it's apparently gotten appreciably cold while we warmed up. Yep, just following... I'm not actually sure if this one's a road. Following the ridge. whether it's a ridge road or a trail or whatever it is. But following the ridge goes the way we want it to go. We'll get where we're going eventually. Hopefully without too much freezing, because apparently the cold has turned for the worst. 3 echelons down. Early in the day we're only 1 echelon down, so this is pretty cold, especially given our gear. Should be sitting around 24 degrees Celsius warming bonus from the gear. So I mean it's like 50 out with the wind chill. Minus 50, oof.
Need to find some place to escape this cold.
Pretty sure I've searched here before. Yeah. So apparently not well enough to get everything. Do a little bit of sharpening instead of sleeping for an hour, because we don't necessarily need to sleep for an hour to get the warmth back we want. Instead, we can do sharpening for like 33 minutes. Get the same effect. This is a road again, because you can tell because of the bridge. On the road again. I don't remember how most of the song goes, but we're on the road again. Apparently it's warmed up a bit from earlier. What was it? The 33 minutes before we started sharpening, we were down 3 echelons. We're now only down 2. We're moving. Moving.
My fingers feel numb.
I think we'll get to the next cabin without taking any real cold damage. Maybe take a little bit of cold damage. And then we can warm in that cabin and just try to rinse and repeat and get all the way to the Mystery Lake cabins over by the dam. That might be a little far. We might not make it that far without getting cold.
So cold. Just want to lay down for a bit.
Spend a little bit of time sharpening a knife like we did before. Okay, well, both the knife and the axe are as sharp as we want them before we use them again. Yeah, I think we double down echelon. We might not make it all the way to the trailer cabin, sadly. Before we take cold damage. On the other hand, at this point, we can probably just assume we will take some cold damage and just tolerate it. Because we're burning through quite a bit of fatigue, and we're going to regain condition from sleeping anyway. The transition, the ravine. Realized I've been calling the ravine the cabin in a bunch of descriptions for YouTube. Or another cabin, the canyon. I've been calling it the canyon rather than the ravine. This is the spot where you want to make sure you probably don't have auto walk on, because it's fairly easy if you're not paying a lot of attention to auto walk off the edge here.
Just making my head feel thick. Never felt so cold in my
starting to take
life.
condition damage from the cold, so the question here is how much condition damage am I willing to take to recover later by sleeping. Problem with the fact that I suppose right now the caves I'm going to be presented with to warm up in are probably not super warm either, so I don't really have anything to do in them besides sleep, which would, depending upon how you do the math on that exchange, maybe not be as efficient as just walking through, as long as I'm maintaining a good pace. Because right now I'm losing 20 condition in an hour, but a 1 hour sleep heals like 1%, and a 2 hour sleep is like 3%. Whereas if I take something like a 6 hour sleep, that's going to be far more efficient. But I want to make it all the way to at least Mystery Lake before we take the long sleep for like 7 hours to get that condition back. Because then I can go find food that I've left behind from cooking bears. Yeah, at the rate we're walking and taking damage, it probably just makes sense to push on through to the cabins near the dam in Mystery Lake. One thing I might want to do with the repaired bow, assuming the deer has respawned, is come back in here in the ravine area and hunt the 2 deer. I think that's the bunny I hear, not the deer. Because we've just about eaten up all the deer meat, the venison, from the previous hunt. So stockpiling up some venison for future times would be a good idea. Assuming the venison has, you know, respawned to be hunted. The visibility here is not good enough for me to be finding birch bark right now. So this is a good place to be looking for birch bark. I'm just not seeing anything in this low visibility. Okay, that was a deer, so at least one of the deer has respawned. And they were hunted close enough together that if one's respawned, probably both have. Still actually have a little bit of venison here. would have thought that would have been the last of it. I thought it was down to one piece. I'm now down to one piece, but I thought I was already down to one piece. Well, looking at the time, I'm going to get into the cabin. We're going to put our character Will here to sleep. And I'll use that save as the save for the stream. So that's where I'm going to end the stream and end the recording. So, hope everyone that's been watching has been having an enjoyable time. Sorry for those watching it on Twitch and have been suffering the lower frame rate from the internet just dropping a bunch of frames. Looks like it got as bad as losing... Oh, there's even another piece of meat here. Looks like it got as bad as losing about 30% of the frames in the end over the entire stream. So, if I actually had any real control over the internet, I would not be appreciating that. But that's the internet. That's not my computer's ability to provide content to stream, sadly. Because when the internet's good, the streaming settings I have does provide at a level that can be streamed normally with this internet. So it's just a local internet problem at the moment. Watching on YouTube, there probably will be more in the future, unless something horrendous comes up. And it should be up tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you're watching this rightfully after it's come out, because this will have come out on a 6 p.m. Day. So I think still 2 weeks ahead on the recordings. So if you're watching this on YouTube, the success, well, trying to remember how I've got the scheduling set up. This actually might be about 2.5 weeks ahead. So you probably wouldn't be able to skip ahead to watch on Twitch VODs the next episode because it won't be up anymore because I only have 7-day saves for the Twitch VODs. But be expectant that there'll be another episode up probably tomorrow on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, there'll be another episode up tomorrow. It'll just be one from before this, because we're about 2 weeks in the future on recording at the moment. There are places you want to see me map out earlier. I know I've already sort of told people ahead of time. It was at this point probably like a week ago in the past. Feel free to put it in the comments in YouTube, or feel free to put it in the comments on Twitch. The first place that's probably going to get fully explored is probably going to be Desolation Point. But as you can see, stuff happens all the time, and mapping takes quite a while, so just because I'm 2 weeks ahead, it does not mean that your request to prioritize mapping someplace over another doesn't actually result in it getting mapped ahead of anything else, because it's still quite possible that happens. Okay, well, this is where I'm going to end the video. Hope everyone's having a good time. And feel free to leave comments, and I'll try to respond to comments as they come up. And see you guys tomorrow.